A man once showed up at the Chabad house of an esteemed colleague of mine, Rabbi Ferris, and he expressed interest in converting to Judaism. Rabbi Ferris stopped what he was doing and invited the stranger in for tea. The man proceeded to tell Rabbi Ferris that just a few short weeks prior, he had been in a very dark place, and he had actually planned to take his own life. He bought a thick rope, and he decided that he would hang himself in the last place in life that he had really been happy, his elementary school. On a Friday night, when school was out, he drove over to Emerson's school. And as he got out of the car, it suddenly dawned on him that the children would return to school on Monday and might see his dead body before the police would arrive. I couldn't do that to them, he told Rabbi Ferris. So I began walking aimlessly about the neighborhood, looking for a secluded place where I could end my life without traumatizing the children. Eventually, he found the perfect place, a small dog park in a residential neighborhood with a large oak tree in the corner. As he tied the rope around the branch, his ears suddenly picked up the heartwarming sounds of happiness. He looked up. The entire neighborhood was dark, as it was very late, and all the lights were off. But there was this one house across from where I stood that had light and life streaming forth from its open windows. And as I peered closer, I saw that they were Hasidic Jews, and the table was laden with all sorts of delicious-looking food. The guests were singing, they were laughing, they were connecting, they were smiling. And at that moment, I felt something shift deep inside my heart. The man began to cry, and he leaned forward to Rabbi Ferris and he said, "Rabbi, it was a miracle. At that moment, God reached out, touched me, and told me there was still happiness and light waiting for me in my life." Rabbi Ferris replied, "Was that house on Claremont Boulevard by any chance?" The man stopped crying. His face went blank with shock. "How did you know that? I never approached the house. I ran away that night and never told anyone what had happened. No one in the world knows which block that happened on. How do you?" Rabbi Ferris, usually very calm and collected, clasped the man's hands in his own and began to cry. He says, "Well, that's because I live on Claremont Boulevard, across from a dog park called Monkey Island, which has a wide, strong oak tree. You are standing in front of my house, and every Friday night we leave our windows open in the hope that the world hears the sweet sounds of Shabbos." 1 year later, Rabbi Ferris was dancing hand in hand with that man as they celebrated his Jewish wedding. And this, to my mind, my friends, is one of Hanukkah's most profound messages. You see, the Jewish way of influencing the world was never through proselytizing, but through personifying our highest ideals and values. We influenced every society and civilization, every country and culture we passed through, not through the power of our arguments, but through the presence of our example. Not through the dominant hands of Esau, but through the still voice of Jacob, whose silence speaks louder than 1,000 words. Our very mission statement was to be a light, not a lord, unto the nations. Hence, we might say that we Jews were called upon to be history's menorah, humbly shining and exposing the divine light in everyone and everything. So as we gather around the Hanukkah lights this year, let's take their message to heart. Don't just light the menorah, live your life in such a way that you become a menorah to your family, to your community, and to the wider world.
If you like that video, hit the subscribe button and notification bell below for hours of the best Jewish content online.